All right, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
The 357 District Court will call its court docket into session this morning for Tuesday, February the 8th, 2022 at 8 o'clock, at 9 o'clock. Starting with 2019 DCR 2178, Christopher Andrew Martinez Ruiz de la Garza.
Good morning, Judge.
Morning.
I believe I had a permission to also bring a witness, and she is Catherine Saldana, Judge.
You have a witness?
Yes, Judge.
There is a Catherine Saldana on the screen.
That's her.
Hold on a second. Let me just look at this. All right. What is this witness regarding what, Mr.
Well, Judge, I had, I've looked at this. I've been a part of Mr. Martinez's case for quite some time, and I did speak with the probation officer. So I wanted to be prepared that in the event we do have a revocation and a sentencing, that I have her to speak on his behalf, just so that way perhaps the court can understand why we're asking for maybe the sentence that we would be asking, Judge.
And who is this? How is she related to the defendant?
She's his aunt, and basically she helped raise him along with his grandmother.
I understand that she doesn't want to see him go to prison. I understand that. But she also needs to understand, as a reasonable person that I think she is, that he has been given a lot of opportunities to do right by her, by us, by everybody. And he continues to ignore us. He continues to run his life as if he has nothing restricted, and that is not true. He got in trouble earlier. He asked for freedom. He said he wanted an opportunity to show that this is not him, that he could correct his life. If given an opportunity, and that opportunity was given to him by this court, not once, but twice. So I hope that his aunt understands the level of disappointment that this court has with him.
And Judge, we've talked, and she understands. She does understand, but nonetheless, I wanted to make sure I did as much as I could for my client.
I understand that. Mr. All right, well, raise your right hand, Ms. Aldana.
Unmute yourself, ma'am.
You're muted.
Do you solemnly swear from the testimony you will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Before
Sorry? Can you speak up a little bit, ma'am?
I do.
Thank you.
can you raise it, lower your hand, Ms. Aldana. Thank you. All right. Or we're going to go through the motion. She will be relevant at the time of punishment.
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Martinez, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear from the testimony you will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. You can put your hand down.
All right. This is cause number 2019 DCR 2178, State of Texas versus Christopher Andrew Martinez. Is that your true and correct name, sir?
Sir.
All right. Are you the same Christopher Andrew Martinez that on November 1st, 2019, pled guilty to the offense of aggravated robbery, and you were given a 10-year deferred adjudication probation term, which if you completed successfully, this would be dismissed against you. Is that you?
Yes, sir.
All right. You're represented by Mr. De La Garza here this morning, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Mr. La Garza, do you waive formal reading of the state's motion to adjudicate, amended motion to adjudicate in this case?
Judge, I guess we would. He does understand the allegations, the accusations. We've gone over the.
Okay, so you waive the formal reading?
Yes, Judge, we do.
Do you find Mr. Martinez competent and able to assist you in all matters?
Yes, I do.
All right. Mr. Martinez, since you were last before me, has another judge like me declared you mentally incompetent?
No, sir.
All right. You've had an opportunity to go over the allegations contained in the state's third amended motion to adjudicate your guilt with your counsel. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
After having done so, do you feel you understand what is being alleged as the basis for the adjudication?
Yes, sir.
All right. How do you wish to plead to the state's third amended motion to adjudicate in this case? Are the allegations contained in that motion, are they true or not true?
True.
Are you aware that on your plea of true in all reasonable probability, I will find the allegations of the state's motion to adjudicate to be true, and in all reasonable probability, I will find you guilty of the offense of aggravated robbery? Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Are you pleading true because the allegations contained in the state's third amended motion to adjudicate are true and for no other reason?
Yes, sir.
Has anyone threatened you, promised you anything, or placed you under any fear of any kind to force you to enter a plea of true before me today?
Sir.
Do you understand that by pleading true, you're giving up certain constitutional rights, your right to confront the witnesses, the right to have them appear in person, and the right to have your attorney cross-examine them? Are you aware you're giving up those rights?
Yes, sir.
All right. The court will take judicial notice of all documents and files based on your plea of true. I find there is sufficient evidence to support the allegations in the state's third amendment motion to adjudicate to be true. I hereby find you guilty of aggravated robbery. That is a sad, sad situation. I never wanted to do that. So now I will hear on punishment. Mr. La Garza.
Judge, I've been Mr. Martinez's attorney now for going on 2 years. When I first met him, I got a lot of information about him. And ultimately, I came to learn that he's been in the system for some time. He was raised basically by his aunt, who's here present today, Miss Catherine Saldana, and his grandmother. His mother and father were really not in the picture. They themselves had trouble with the law. But ever since he's been 13 years old, up until the time he was 18, he was in TYC most of that time, Judge. Mr. Martinez never completed school, but he did want to go back. And I know that he really did have aspirations to do so. However, of course, it's not as easy, easier said than done. He has had a struggle mostly, and I think that most of everything that he's had comes back to Xanax and other substances that affect his ability to control himself. And his decision making. But ultimately, I look at this case as somebody who really had a really hard start at a very young age in life. And it was very hard for him to have that male role model to help guide him. And that's not an excuse, Judge. It really isn't. But Mr. Martinez is still only 19. And, this is a very severe case because, of course, it starts at 5 years, Judge. And I thought about the options, and I'm very, very much knowing where Miss Lakash stands. I spoke with her. We had a long talk about this case way back in 2020, and then just recently we did speak about this case again. And I do understand that she wanted to give him a chance and did in 2020. And we did let him out, but those chances are now gone. And so I did not push the issue with her. And for that reason, I could ask the court to say, we could put him on straight probation, but probation in Ms. Lakash's opinion is not going to resolve this case because he will not finish it, in her humble opinion. And I feel that this history of where we have been in the last 2 years kind of substantiates that concern with Ms. Lakosh. And so I did speak to my client again yesterday, just to have him prepared for the worst. But in this particular case, Judge, again, if the judge so chooses to go ahead and sentence him, I'm asking for the minimum, Judge. This is an aggravated offense for which he will have to spend 2.5 years before he's ever eligible for parole. And that's the way the Code of Criminal Procedure reads. It's a 3G offense under the old code, but it still is an offense for which he will have to spend 1/2 of that sentence before he is even eligible for parole. And so I would ask the court to consider 5 years because that's the minimum. I don't know if Ms. Saldani wants to add. I did want her to be here because, of course, I was not in his life prior to 2020, and of course, she can add some guidance to the judge as far as sentencing is concerned.
Okay, Ms. Saldana. Good morning. I can barely hear you.
I'm sorry. I wanted to appear before you to ask that, you know, I know you've given Christopher a lot of chances.
I
As,
have.
as we have.
I've given him more chances than I've given a lot of people. I was hoping because of his youth, what have you, and that, you know, he had a lot of respect for you and his grandmother, that he would do it, the very minimum out of that. But that didn't stop him either.
He was doing really well, Your Honor, this last time that you let him out, and, you know, which we did appreciate very much. And he was doing well. I'm not too sure what happened. But I mean, he was living at his mom's house. I had enrolled him back in school. I mean, he was doing, you know, really well. He was reporting, and then and I understand, you know, he's young, and sometimes, you know,
I can't hear her. I'm sorry.
Unfortunately, your microphone's fading in and out, and we hear parts of it and other parts. Can you? I don't know what's going on
I think there's a lot of background noise in the jail.
in the jail. Are you with somebody else, Mr. Martinez, in there?
Oh, there's some guards right here though. No, there's too much noise. Okay, hold on.
Okay, now go ahead. Let me see. Say something, Ms.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. You're muted again. You got muted again.
You know, like again, I was saying that we do appreciate the chance that you gave Christopher, you know, and he was doing really well. He was living with his mom finally. I had enrolled him back in school. He was going to Keys Academy. He was doing really well. And then, you know, here towards the end, you know, he did mess up, and I do understand that. But I feel that he was a little bit more changed this time than before. And he was trying, and I believe, you know, if you help us out again, you know, that he will.
What? I can't hear that part.
If you help us out again, you know, hopefully that, you know, this time he will do it. He's a little bit more
Oh,
mature.
you're asking me for another chance?
I am, Your Honor. I mean,
Okay. Well, I don't think I can go there. I have an obligation to the community too, Ms. Saldana, with all due respect. I mean, I have to balance these things. Giving him a chance on one hand and the safety of the community on the other. Those are my obligations. And with your nephew, I gave him not one, not two, but three. So the community's already say, hey, Judge, what about us? What about our concern? So I would love to say, yes, I'll give him another one, but I can't do that anymore. I have gone the whole length of my discretion with him to help him, to make him straight out, to make him live a correct life, to finally make you and your mother and his mother proud that he It did not end up this way.
Then I
But
would
it's
ask-
very hard to do that when a young man thinks he's got his whole life and that he keeps getting chances. It just doesn't bode very well for us, for me. I'm not enforcing the law with him. So he knows that. So he feels free that there's no consequences here because I gave him 2 chances when I should have revoked him. I should have done it then. But I gave him, and I think that's what he misunderstood that. The fact that I was given an opportunity, he thought he could get away with some other stuff because I would give him another opportunity. So I really cannot entertain giving him another opportunity. It's got to
Then I-
stop at one point or another. You understand that, I hope.
I do understand, Judge. I would just ask that you would give him consideration in sentencing and not.
I
get
will
us-
do that. I will consider that what you have told me for the sentencing purposes, but I cannot give him another opportunity. I wish I could, but he has not earned it. He has failed me. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. And I don't have any more faith in him. I
I
lost my faith. I was hoping that, I have a lot of faith when I give them this, if they understand that they will take it to heart. They will see it for what it is, an opportunity not to suffer consequences. When you commit an aggravated robbery, you scared the hell out of somebody.
Yes, sir, I understand.
And so I guess he didn't appreciate what he had done initially because he continued to act like if he didn't know anybody, anything.
He did appreciate, Your Honor. Like I said, he was doing really well. There towards the end, he did mess up, and I'm not going to excuse that. He did, but I do ask, that you take into consideration he did not have a male role model in his life at all, to show him the right way. He had 2 females, my mom being older, of course, and then myself.
Well, that should have been even better. The female role is not a bad role because the females, the mothers in the house are the ones that are sustaining the house. They deserve to be on a pedestal at every moment. He didn't put you there. He should have had you and your mother and his mother on a pedestal, making you proud at every moment, at every inch of his life. He didn't need a role model. He was surrounded by love, a lot of love from you, from his grandmother. That's enough fuel for anybody to see that life is worth taking a different direction. And if anything else, to appreciate that you and his grandmother have done the right thing by him. And he should have said, well, you know what? My aunt and my grandmother have stood up with me. I'm going to do the right thing by them because I know that you want. There's nothing more than you want, Miss Saldaña. It's for him to have not gotten into this problem anymore.
Yes, sir.
For him to have been like what you saw him, a different person, and you probably prayed after he left the house and said, I hope he doesn't go. I hope he continues to be the person that I'm trying to see now. You must have done a lot of prayer,
Yes, sir.
but he doesn't know that. And if he knows that, that's not very important to him. It never has been. Because I told him in the very beginning, it's not only you, because of your youth, that's going to suffer consequences. Your whole family will. Because you don't want to see him in prison. Who
Right.
does? I understand that. I mean, I didn't want to see him in prison. So I would understand that. Okay. The court will take judicial notice of all documents and file based on your plea of true or find there is sufficient evidence to support the allegations of the state's motion. I hereby find them to be true. I hereby assess your punishment as follows, Mr. Martinez. It is the order, judgment, decree of this court that you be taken by the sheriff of this county, that you be transferred to the authorized representative of the Institutional Division, Texas Department of Criminal Justice. When did you get all those tattoos on your face?
Got him out there in the free.
The what?
I got him in the free.
Take off your mask. I don't understand it.
You got them on the what?
I don't understand.
I got him in the free.
What is
In the free?
World out there, not in jail.
Oh, in the free world. Okay. He got them out of jail.
I got most of my tattoos in TYC.
It is the order judgment of the case court that taken by the sheriff of this county to be transferred to the authorized representatives to show division fixed permanent criminal justice where you shall be confined for a period of 6 years. Your sentence will commence this day. You will be given credit for any time you have spent in jail on this charge. Further, the court will not assess the fine. Good luck, Mr. Martinez.
How many years?
It's 6 years, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Aldana, for being here this morning. All right, Mr. De La Garza,
Yes, Judge.
did you get the information I left you?
I did. I actually had heard of that. I've never used it, but I had heard of it.
Well, I'm just saying because there's some cases that come up that, could be
Definitely.
eligible for that judicial clemency under 42A,
Yes, that's absolutely true.
All right, you have Byron Gresham, and he is asking for what?
Well, Judge, I did this as a service to him. We were here on a status. This is a 1-year status. We had last come, I think, in June of 2021. That was a 6-month status. I did speak with Ms. Minerva Cervantes, his probation officer. I believe that my client, he's here, but he's right now muted. He's the one with the numbers on his
Yeah.
on his phone. I think he was
Microphone on the bottom of the phone.
Mr. Gresham, if you could unmute yourself and also make sure that you have the camera pointed to your face, please.
Yes.
Okay. Now, Mr. Gresham, I did file on your behalf, as I had told you I was, a motion to consider early termination or reduction of the probation. Now, this is just a status, however, on your case, but I went ahead and did that anyway.
Where is he? I can see, oh,
We
he's
need
moving
to see
around.
your face on the camera, please.
Right there. There you
I'm
go.
sorry. I'm just trying to hear you. So I'm putting the phone by my ear, but I'm going to try like this.
Okay. And Judge, in the last report that I've seen, he's been compliant with all of his probation. He's caught up on all of his what he owes. I don't believe there was a restitution amount that was listed in what I could find. You're at work right now, Mr. Gresham?
Huh?
Are you at work?
Yes, but it's okay. My boss knows that I'm taking a break.
Okay. I just want to make sure that we understood where you're at.
Ms. Cervantes,
Yes, Your Honor.
have you had an opportunity to look at this motion?
Excuse me?
Have you had an opportunity to go over this motion here in terms of that all the arrearages are paid, no financial things and all that?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Refresh my memory on this one. What were the facts in this one?
We had set it for, you set it for review for the second time to make sure that everything, he was doing everything he was ordered to do. And the motion was because he had absconded and he failed to pay. He liquidated all the arrears. He is current at this time, and he has been reporting to Harris County. There has been no incidentals at this time.
Well, I think that under the code that you cite, the 42A 701B, the court will not terminate the probation, but will reduce the probation term. All right? So instead of him serving, normally it would be, the probation term would be over when?
November the 22nd, 2026.
So we're gonna reduce it to 1 more year.
Okay.
He'll be on probation from here on for 1 more year. And if he doesn't reoffend, he continues this. Mr. Gresham,
Yes.
can you hear me?
Huh?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, did you hear anything I just said?
Yes.
I'm reducing your probation. Instead of ending in 2026, I'm gonna reduce it to 1 more year. Are you there?
Okay. Okay.
I will ask you to be on probation for 1 more year, and if you continue to do this, keep current, keep reporting. At the end of that year, I will have no problem signing off on your early termination, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Your Honor,
Yes,
we're gonna set it for review for that time period.
no, you report to me that if he is violated the condition of probation, then, you file your motion. If he hasn't, then at that time, at the end of the year, he'll be off probation. And give me a submit the termination. Is that okay?
I'm a little confused. You're gonna let him write off another, you want him to serve another year of probation?
Correct,
Okay, because you said about an extension, but you want him to serve another year of probation. At that
Correct.
point, we'll submit a progress report to you to see if he's in compliance.
and if he is, I'm gonna terminate him.
Okay, then Mr. Garza will submit the order of termination at that
Yes.
time.
Yes,
Mr. Garza,
Yes, I can do that.
very well.
okay? All right, that'll be the order of the court. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Your Honor, sorry, Judge, is the motion to revoke, dismissed, denied, withdrawn at this time?
Withdrawn.
Withdrawn,
withdrawn.
thank you.
Yes, if he fails by probation, you just pop it back up and you add the other allegation, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right.